Welcome to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. I'm Alicia Jay, and I will be joined from in studio with Ashley Nicole Moss. You usually find us every Tuesday on YouTube, but today we're live on CBS Sports Network. And we're going to talk all things WNBA. I mean, we are in the thick of the preseason, so we've already seen some exciting things happen.
I can hear her that way
definitely been
for now.
Exciting off season in so many different ways. But the official season kicks off on May 16th, so we are here to update you with all things WNBA. And let me tell you, there is a lot to catch up on, okay? If you are a W fan, you already know a lot of the goings-ons. But if you're not, hey, we're here so that we can talk all about it right here on We Need to Talk Now. And here she is, Ashley Nicole Moss.
Hello.
Say hi to everybody.
Sorry for the delay there. Here we go. I got my Knicks jersey on, or my Knicks jacket on, rather. You crazy game, but we're not here to talk about the NBA, Alicia. We are here to talk all things WNBA. But before we do any of that, we got to remind everyone to tap in with us on social media, all of our social channels, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page, because that is where we post full-length episodes if you missed anything, and a bunch of other amazing things that we do throughout the week, throughout the season, throughout the year. And the only way to keep up with that is to follow us on those platforms. We're also on audio in case you are a podcast listener. All the things, check us out. We got you covered. But Alicia, a lot to get into previewing this WNBA season. What are we talking about today?
Man. Well, I already kind of prefaced and told everybody that we're going to be talking about a lot of the off-season moves that has been happening. Also, a little bit of the preseason. We've seen some of the teams, or most of the teams rather, play, and then what we're looking forward to in the season as well. So a lot of different moves, a lot of players actually are on one-year contracts because there is going to be a new CBA moving forward. They're working on it as we speak, I am sure. And when you think about the contracts that have been signed, the moves that were made in the offseason, we're just going to talk about the biggest movers and shakers, the ones that we think did it right, the ones that we think did it the best. And listen, I'm just going to kick it off with what everyone has seen, and that is with Indiana. Indiana, they have a new coach. In Stephanie White, they have a new GM, Amber Cox. And then they added players, Joanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson, adding to the core of Clark, Mitchell, and Boston. Indiana has definitely done so many things to get stronger defensively and also to be able to run the court with Caitlin Clark. They have, with Clark and Boston, they already have two amazing players at their core, and they really needed to add a lot around all of them. And Mitchell as well has been somebody who has already been amazing for Indiana, but they had to add people around them as well. And I think they've done that in a major way. This team is going to be really scary good, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this Fever team. Obviously, we all know the phenom of Caitlin Clark, but what I've loved that the Indiana Fever have done is they've stayed the course. And I think that we talk about this often just in the world of sports, but specifically basketball, because of all the trades and the movement that happens every single season and the influx of it, right? I think that a lot of the times teams sometimes try to cheat the system and try to get to a championship as quickly as possible and try to get as many championships as quickly as possible. And one thing I really appreciate about the Fever, and I also can appreciate this about the Sky as well, is that they have stayed the course. And yes, that sometimes means having losing seasons or seasons that are mediocre, if you will, but ultimately knowing that the end result will be worth it. And now you have a team that I think, we were talking about the Fever last season, about how they could upset or at least give a team that we expected to go the distance a really hard time. This season, I think that they are a team that you don't want to face in a playoff scenario, because unlike last year, I believe that this year they can absolutely and probably will come out on the winning end of that matchup, depending on what it is.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that, talking about championship contenders and finals contenders. a little bit later on in the show, but when you have a talent like Caitlin Clark, and not to diminish any of the players that have been playing on that team, but when you have a talent like that, you have to certainly build an amazing roster around them, and they have done that. And we've already seen them play a little bit, but cannot wait to see what they do this season for sure. Another team that I wanted to talk about, Ashley, is Seattle. Seattle made some huge moves in the offseason, and in a lot of ways, they had to turn lemons into lemonade because Jewell Loyd wanted to be traded. So when you have a player that is doing that, sometimes you're at a disadvantage because you know that they want to leave, but you just don't know what you're going to get in return. And so you look at this 3-team trade that they did. The Aces received Jewell Loyd from Seattle. The Sparks received Kelsey Plum from the Aces. And then the Storm received a number 2 2025 draft pick, which ultimately is Dominique Malonga, which we will also be talking about. And when you look at the moves that they have made, and, you know, you have Gabby Williams, Skylar Diggins, you have all of these people that are already there, NECA, and you add an amazing draft pick in Dominique Malonga. You have a team that really has a resurgence, a team that had some chemistry issues last year that it looks like in a lot of ways that has been rectified. So you have a new day, a new dawn, a fresh start. And I just really feel like the moves that they made were so strategic and smart, and I just cannot wait to see what they do this season.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with Seattle, and we have been looking to have the Storm back in the limelight. You know, obviously Sue Bird, one of the greatest we've ever seen, and they've been kind of struggling to find what their next chapter looks like. And they have done such a good job at creating that and doing that, not only do the draft, but also through free agency. And they have some pieces on this team that I am such a fan of, and I'm really excited to just see how they all work together. I think this is definitely a team that you have to look out for. I think this is a team that is ready to win right now. I think this is a team that is ready to win in the future. And they have just such a good combination of kind of vets and rookies that whatever the outcome of this team is, I think they're prepared for the immediate future. I think they're prepared for the present. And I think that it is such an amazing thing to do as a front office to avoid having what I like to call sometimes a gap year or gap years where you're a really good team and then, you know, your players age out, they retire or they move on, and now you're trying to pick up the pieces and figure out what's next. I don't think Seattle's going to have that problem because they have fundamental young pieces that they can build around in their next chapter. But their chapter right now, I think, is going to be a winning one.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, and I just absolutely love the franchise, right? Not, you know, being in Seattle, they have the Storm crazies. They have these fans who have been supporting them just intensely since day one. And they deserve to see a team like this out on the court, and a team, like you said, that can play now and also have a really bright future as well with the moves that they've made. Now, we've talked about people who have made huge moves, but what about the most impactful moves? I mean, when I think about impact, I think about the Dallas Wings because they had a pretty disappointing season last season. And also, in addition to that, you know, they haven't really been a franchise that has capitalized in a lot of ways on some of the players that they have, in my opinion. You also have a new GM in Kurt Miller. You have a new coaching staff. And then you had a player, Satu, who said, hey, I want to go elsewhere. So they had to make those moves as well. So then you see the additions, Melissa Smith, Dejanay Carrington, Taisha Harris, and so many more. I mean, they added so many pieces that were so great to this team. And then you draft Paige Bueckers, who is one of the best draft picks and obviously went number 1 overall that we have seen, and is already showing such leadership on the court. So when you see all of this, and you know, you have Kurt saying that they're focused on improving shooting, defense, post depth, rebounding, versatility, and great character in the locker room, they have achieved all of those things. And not only do I think they will have an impact now, but for years to come and teams to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're short on time, so we're going to skip ahead to rookie cuts, or biggest rookie cuts right now. And I know that you have one that you really want to highlight. So for me, I'm just going to say my pick is not necessarily a rookie cut, but a rookie trying to earn her spot, and that is Deja Kelly. I know that we're constantly talking about on this show about how difficult it is to make a WNBA roster. And just because you don't get drafted doesn't mean that you won't play in this league either this season, next season, the season after, you name it. And Deja Kelly is a perfect example of that, right? I think that her transferring from UNC and going over to the West Coast, obviously it didn't end up being what she wanted it to be at Oregon. And maybe that affected her draft stock a little bit. But now you see her in the preseason with the Aces absolutely just balling out and reminding everybody that just because you go undrafted doesn't mean you can't play and doesn't mean that you won't play. And she's earning her spot. She's showcasing she belongs in this league. And it's just a reminder again to everyone who maybe feels discouraged after their name isn't called on draft night that it is not the beginning. It is not the end of your story. It could just be the beginning.
Absolutely. And it's really, like you said, not about where you start. It's about where you're going and where you finish, right? And the same can be said about Cheyenne Sellers. She was drafted number 17 overall by the Valkyries, and a lot of people were shocked that she got cut. But what people have to understand is that training camp starts on April 27th. Literally, I'll just put it into context really quickly for time. Under a week. There's under a week before, you know, you're in preseason and then you're going to the actual season. I mean, in under a month, rather, I should say. And so you really don't have a lot of time to cut down from 20 to 12 positions in the roster. It's really hard. You have to look at contracts. You have to look at the players that you have. You have to look at the positions. And so when it comes to Cheyenne, it just wasn't something that worked out for her with that team. Natalie Nakase said that it wasn't about talent, it was just about what we needed at the time. And she got picked up by the Atlanta Dream, which arguably a lot of people would say she's in a better position on that team for her position. And so, yeah, it's kind of crazy to see these, people who have been drafted, these women who have been drafted, cut. But at the end of the day, that's just how the league works. There's only 156 spots to fill. So, Cheyenne is on another team. Deja wasn't even drafted. She went to the draft and was undrafted. And now she is on a team that she's probably going to make. I mean, it's just really about what you make of it and the positioning of everything, Ashley.
Absolutely. And on that note, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to address whether or not the WNBA season should think about moving their season back. Don't move. Welcome back, everyone, to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. And just as a reminder, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel to keep up with us with all things we have going on during the season and all women's sports all year round. Now, speaking of the WNBA season, before the break, I teased that we were going to talk about the potential of moving, or should the WNBA season be moved back to give these rookies some breathing time. We're going to save that for another show, but just so you know, Alicia and I are totally in favor. These rookies need some breathing room, but we're going to save that full conversation when we have a little bit less of a jam-packed show, because right now we have some bold predictions that we want to break down right here on the show. So Alicia, I know you had some that you were conjuring up last night, what is the first one you have on your list?
Now, we all know that Asia Wilson and Arike, they lead the league in scoring and they're phenomenal players. But when I look at the players coming into this season, I think that the person who is going to rise the most or even surpass in scoring in the league is Napheesa Collier. She had a fantastic year last year in so many different ways. They were so close. The Lynx were so close to winning the championship. And when I look at her drive and how she is as a player and how she steps up in such big ways, I can just see Fee going for more in every single way. And not to mention, she also has kind of like a chip on her shoulder in a way, because you're looking to win that championship again and show people who you are. Also, in a lot of ways, I think that Fee isn't covered the way that she should be. She's not talked about in a lot of ways, and I think she's going to come into this season and just be a scoring machine on every single level. She is going to come to get what is due to her as a player, and that's my bold prediction, is she is going to lead the league in scoring.
Yeah, I definitely think that she is somebody to watch out for MVP contention as well. One of my bold predictions is that the Seattle Storm, maybe this is not even bold, but let's just say for the exercise, it is bold. I think the Seattle Storm will represent the Western Conference in this year's playoffs as the top seed in the Western Conference. Excuse me. I just think that what they are building is so phenomenal. It's incredible. We talked about it a little bit in the earlier break, before the break rather. And I just think this is a team that is built to win.
I think that they are as well. That is a bold prediction, though, when you look at all the teams in the conference. So I would agree. That's definitely bold.
Ooh,
but we've talked a lot about the Storm and what they've done. And I would not be mad at that, Ashley, especially all of the moves that they've made and the players that are on that team. I'm going to talk about somebody that had an amazing rookie season, but I can see her doing even more, and that is Angel Reese. I think she's going to be on the all-defensive first team, if not more than that. But I know that for sure when I watch her as a player. I mean, listen, she led the league in rebounds per game, was second in Rookie of the Year voting last year, tied for third most double-doubles in a player's first 14 games with 8 double-doubles in her first 14. I mean, she has already in 1 year in the WNBA solidified herself as a major player in this game, and I can see her doing even more on every single level. And the moves that they've made with the Sky are definitely there they're so good, and they're definitely there to even showcase who she is as a player even more in her position. I know she's been in the gym. I know she's doing things to make her game even more versatile, and I can just see her doing amazing things this year in the WNBA on every level, but especially I can see her being on that first all defensive first team.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see her and HVL reunited and what that's going to look like. And when you talk about the Sky, you talk about just a team that from front office to coaching staff, they're really invested in building up their young talent, and they have so much of it, which is why they're a team I'm very excited to see, not only this season, but just down the line, what they look like, what they mature into as a collective group. And we all know Angel has her hand in so many different things, and being part of an organization that doesn't stifle that, because sometimes they want to keep the main thing, and they don't want you to be bigger than the brand, essentially. I think that her being part of an organization that uplifts her and allows her to just be Angel while also expecting her to perform on the court, which she does night in and night out, is just great for her and her development. Another one that I have is, Alicia, you'll be happy about this. This is a team that you talk about often, the Atlanta Dream. I think that they will surprise the league with their revamped offense and become a playoff contender. We've been talking about the Dream. We've been talking about the moves that they have made. I know that you were a big fan of the moves that they have made. And I think that the moves have created them or made them into a legitimate playoff contender. They are not a team that you can sleep on. They're not a team that you can see on your schedule and just be passive about. I think that they have done everything they needed to do in this offseason to really start putting fear and making the team that they play buck up a little bit more and say, oh, we're playing the Dream. We got to get ready.
Absolutely. It's crazy because we're sitting here talking about all these amazing moves that all of these teams have made, which gets me excited for the whole league because the competition is going to be fierce. I think this is going to be one of the most competitive, I would say, seasons that the WNBA has ever had. And the Dream are certainly one of those teams that they're going to get out of the first round for sure.
Yeah.
And that's something kind of that they haven't been able to do. And so yeah, the Dream, I've been a huge fan, and I'm definitely a huge fan of what they have done as well. And talking about, all the different players that have been moved to all of these teams, somebody who had their first year on their team last year was Skylar Diggins. She went to the Storm last year, and listen, my prediction is this year, given all the moves that they've made and all the things that we've seen from her, the way that she's talking, the way that she's moving, she's changed her name. There's so many different things that Skylar has done. She is going to go off this year, Ashley. I don't even think that's a bold prediction. I think that's a fact. I don't think it's, I mean, I can just see Skylar doing huge things. I mean, I'm not scoffing at her season last year, but as a matter of fact, I believe she was named the AP WNBA Comeback Player of the Year last year because she did so well. But in addition to that, I just see her with a new fire. She's got a new team around her. The chemistry is better on every single level. And, you know, Skylar has been that girl.
Yeah.
She has been that girl since she came into the league, but I can just see her going off on a level that we haven't seen from her in a while this season.
Yeah, and I mean, I got a chance to see her in Unrivaled as well as Angel and a bunch of other amazing players, and she was out there hooping. And again, to your point, she's been that girl. She's been a hooper. This is not new. If you're watching her at Notre Dame, if you're watching her early stages in her career, you know that this is what Skylar Diggins does. But it's nice to see it be once again put on a bigger stage, because I think that a lot of people have forgotten, and that's just because of all the talent that has come into the WNBA since, that sometimes the girls, the women rather, who have been there are kind of in the back of your memory. But watching her in Unrivaled, she's in incredible shape. Her endurance is through the roof, and she was out there playing it like it was the WNBA finals. This was no, oh, we're just out here to have fun. Yeah, we want to win, but this is an off season. No, she was out there hooping. She was in people's faces playing. It was absolutely incredible to watch. I think that Unrivaled and Athletes Unlimited were both amazing for all of the women who participated. It got them in the best shape, got them in that momentum, in that mindset to really jumpstart the WNBA season in just a few weeks.
Absolutely. Well, Ashley, we've been talking all things WNBA, and in the next segment, we are going to make our predictions for early playoff contenders. It's going to be a great conversation, so you'll want to stay tuned. Come back right after this break. Welcome to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. Now, Ashley, we talked about bold predictions, but now it's time to talk about the playoff contenders, like who we think are going to make the playoffs. And we've alluded to some of them, but let's break it down a little bit more. We can't start this conversation without talking about Indiana. I mean, Indiana, they made the first round of the playoffs last year. They did not get out of the first round. So they did it without all of these amazing moves that they've had, right? But now you have, you know, Clark, you have Boston and Mitchell, who already have this amazing chemistry. And then you add veteran players, DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, who both don't get enough recognition, by the way, and they're ballers. But you have that you've added. You've added Sophie Cunningham, who is a perimeter scoring threat as well. And you've built this team that is ready to run with Caitlin. They're ready. They have so many scoring threats, not just Caitlin in herself, right? Which is like the scoring threat. And you built this team that has this great chemistry. They want to win coming out the gate, and they support each other in every way. You see all of them on social. They're just really getting along, in addition to having all of these threats that all of the players have, right? Sydney Colson was a great addition as well. And, you know, I couldn't say it better than what Caitlin could say herself when they're looking for what they are expecting out of the season. So take a look at this clip.
How much easier is it to do that, knowing that there's so much championship talent on the roster, and then the younger core of you guys, you know, are used to this, the expectations of this franchise?
Yeah, I think having that balance is going to be really good for us. You know, there's so many different weapons on this team. There's a lot of really great leadership. There's people that have won championships. You know, then we have our young core, our young players, you know, a lot of people that are really, really hungry to win. And I think that's kind of what we were lacking last year. You know, we got to the playoffs and not only have we not won championships, we barely had playoff experience. So that was a glaring thing that we had to fix. And like I said, Kelly and Amber did a really good job of that. And those vets that have won and been on really great teams wanting to come here, we're really thankful for that. And just through these first few days of practice, everybody's been really great, and it's been so much fun. And you can tell everybody's just been very selfless and excited to be here and excited to put things together to make us a really successful team.
Have you guys been explicit so far about wanting to win a championship this year?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
What does success then look like? I mean,
a championship.
Yeah, Ashley, it's the M for me, championship. Like, that's what we're looking for, is a championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what player wouldn't say that? You know what I'm saying? But you can hear it in her voice and you can see it in the team. That's what they are expecting.
Yeah, and I think for Caitlin, I think it's nice to get the rookie year under her belt. Obviously, she's such a star in this league, such a star in sports in general. There's always going to be conversation around her, but I think it was just such heightened conversation about her relationship with other players in the league that it was probably just a very heavy burden to carry, in addition to just kind of trying to figure out and get your bearings of your new environment, your new team, just this new league in general. So I'm sure she's happy to have that chapter behind her. One of my picks are a team that missed the playoffs last year, but I think that they got my girl HVL, and I can expect this to be a team that's going in the playoffs this year. That's the Chicago Sky. I think also you have a more mature Angel Reese in terms of she got her bearings as well now too. She has a year under her belt. I think that the Sky do a phenomenal job in developing talent. You have Camilla right there, also has a year under her belt. And I think HVL is so wise beyond just being a rookie, just because of her collegiate journey and everything she has gone through to get to this point. We spoke about her with such admiration, specifically after this TCU season, and just how vulnerable she was about her mental health and everything that just went to her finding herself again and finding her joy for the sport. And I think that matures you and prepares you in ways that you can't really measure. And I'm really just excited to see this team as a collective unit. I think that this team has a lot of players who have that burden, that chip of just wanting to prove people wrong and being doubted and being counted out in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's really going to fuel them. And I think it's really also going to bond them.
Absolutely. And then you look at, players like Sloot who are on the team that have this like veteran presence. They're coming back. She's coming back to play on the team. You have a lot of leadership that has been added to this team as well. And you also have to look at health. At the end of the season, a lot of the reason for them not being in that playoffs, or the playoffs rather, is that Angel had that wrist surgery. And I think if that didn't happen, they would have fared a lot better. And then also Camilla, she had a good season, but she could have had a better season if it was healthy. And so you look at her, and I think she's going to have even a better season this year than she did last year for a lot of that reason, right? So you look at all of that, you look at the players, you look at the health of the players, Lord willing that they stay healthy. But I just think that literally, pun intended, the sky is the limit for the Sky, because they have everything that they need to not only make the playoffs, but excel in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that we probably both agree on a team that I think we both had on our list. They also missed the playoffs last season. Tell us why the Atlanta Dream are a team we both agree on. I alluded to them in the last block, but I'll let you dive in a little deeper as to why you have them on your list as well.
I mean, you have BG, who played on one team her entire career and is now, on the Dream. And any team with BG, I'm going to say, is better for it, right? Because she's such a phenomenal player. You have Brianna Jones, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and then hopefully her knee is okay. We still don't know, but you have Jordan Canada as well. Tahina Pau, like there's some really amazing additions that they've made, not only for chemistry, but for basketball. And they're just a franchise that I've always been excited about on many levels. But when you make big moves like this, when you have a whole new coaching staff to not only facilitate the moves, but then coach them to fruition, there's nothing that the Atlanta Dream can't do. There really isn't. With and like I said, we're talking this way about a lot of teams. So it's going to be really awesome to see this competition this year because it is fierce on every level. And the Atlanta Dream are certainly one of those teams that have done that tenfold to their team. But Ashley, what I want to know is, who do you think is going to the finals? Because, mine, yeah, I know it's hard, but my picks are kind of safe, but I really want to know what yours are.
My picks might be safe as well. I'm going with the Liberty to repeat and bring it on back. And I'm just a big believer in this team. And I'm going to go Seattle Storm. I have Storm and Liberty in the 2025 WNBA Finals.
Well, of course you have the Liberty. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Ashley. But I would say for me, the Liberty are definitely going to be back in. But I see a repeat. I see them playing against the Minnesota Lynx, and I see the Lynx coming in and winning this year. I know you don't like to hear that, but I see them coming in and winning. There was a lot of controversy about that game, that final game that they played, whether they got robbed. And so I know when they come in, they are going to come in focused, and they're going to come in with that attitude of, we're taking this time. We are going to bring another championship back to Minnesota. And so there's going to be some great competition. We've been talking about all these teams that are going to play each other, but I see a repeat and I see the Lynx taking it all this year. So, hey, you can call that a bold prediction if you want to, but I'm excited. Regardless, we're going to have a great season of WNBA play, and we're going to talk more about it right here on We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T when we come back. Welcome back to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. And just a quick reminder, we love being live with you here, right on network, but we are live. Well, we're not live, but every Tuesday we're on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. And then also you can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. So make sure you tap in with us because we're going to have a lot of this WNBA talk moving through the season. But Ashley, right now we're going to do something fun that we like to do on the show, and that is our AT&T guarantee, which is something that we share that we consider to be a guarantee. So let's talk Rookie of the Year, Ashley. I know that it's way too early to make this prediction, but given what we know about the rookies and what we have seen, we're going to make some predictions about it. And I'm just going to start out because recently I sat down with Dominique Malonga, and let me tell you something. I was thoroughly impressed by our conversation, but also I'm just impressed with the player that she is. She was drafted number 2 overall by the Storm. And in a lot of ways, people are saying that they won the draft because she should have gone number 1. Now, she was going against Paige Bueckers, and Paige Bueckers is, as we know, the front runner to be the Rookie of the Year. But when I look at the play that Dominique has, when I look at the pro experience that she already has, and I mean, yes, she's viral for dunking, but she is just an amazing player in so many ways. She has size, athleticism. She's incredibly versatile. She's strong at both ends of the court. She is just a player that I see her as a generational talent. I see her as somebody who is going to affect this league in so many ways. She's already been doing it in France. But, when I sat down to talk with her, I really wanted to know, as a 19-year-old coming into this league, what do you think your pro experience is going to, impact the play that you're going to have in your first year of the W? And this is what she had to say. It's kind of common practice internationally to go pro at a younger age, but not a lot of people can say that they've gone pro at 15, right? We're talking about you going into the WNBA at 19, but going pro at 15, what was that like?
It was something for it because I was for 2 years in the academy with my school. I was in high school at this time, and I was supposed to stay there for 4 years. But after my second year, I got I would say, seen by Tony Parker. He wanted me to become pro, like very like now, because he was like, you have nothing to do anymore with the young. You have to play pro right now because you're gonna improve your game much way faster than if you stay with the pro. So with the young, sorry. So it was kind of obvious for me to go there and to have this new experience in my life, to do that big step very early, because I would be. And at that time in Lyon, it was great players, as Sandrine Gruda, for example. And so I had the chance to learn from that players. And it was just amazing years for me. I learned a lot. I improved a lot in my game. And I think that's all that which helped me, to being drafted today.
It's kind of common practice. And, Ashley, she's sitting there talking about, she learned a lot at 19, right? And so it's crazy that she has this experience, but then also she's really just getting started in a lot of ways and is going to become an even better player. So I just really can't wait to see what she does. And I think she's going to have a stellar year and win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, comparisons to Victor Wembanyama being called the unicorn is something that you don't take lightly. My Rookie of the Year predictions, one, Paige Bueckers. I don't think that's bold at all. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. But I actually want to throw HVL in the mix. And the reason I want to do that is because there's Paige Bueckers. We all know she's probably going to win it this year. She's just that girl. But me throwing HVL in the mix is just because I feel like she's going to get more playing time than people are assuming. And I just think the trajectory that she is on, especially coming from everything she has gone through as a young woman, a collegiate student, just the run of TCU, I think that she's just happy to be here. And I think that when you see that joy in players, it really changes the way that they are able to play. Being reunited with Angel Reese, I think, is going to be absolutely incredible for her. I'm excited to see what that does for their development together, as well as as individuals. I definitely just think that for her, I think that maybe she's flying a little bit under the radar because, as you mentioned, Sloot is going to be in the mix and she's going to be learning from her. But I don't know. I just feel like HVL is going to be a much bigger piece of this puzzle than we are anticipating. And I know that we have MVP to discuss. So we're going to save that for right after this break. So don't move, because we are going to give our bold predictions, or our guarantees rather, for who MVP will be at the end of the 2025 WNBA season. We'll be right back. Welcome back to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. And here are your odds to win regular season MVP. And some of the usual suspects are on this list. And those same usual suspects are on our list of who we want to guarantee to win the MVP. Now, before the break, I said we were going to finish our guarantee segment with the MVP. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Alicia, we're not very creative because the names are on that list are also on our list. Tell the people why, though.
They definitely are. But when I look at that list, I'm going to move Napheesa Collier all the way up to the top of my odds to win MVP. Because when I think about the team who is going to win it all, I already said my pick, and that would be the Lynx. And a large part of that is going to be because of the play of Napheesa Collier. She was a top challenger for MVP last season, had a career high in nearly every category, was the Defensive Player of the Year, and led the Lynx to their first finals appearance since 2017. She had an amazing, stellar season, and now she has this fire to not only prove that her team should win the championship, but also that she should also be MVP. And so I can just see her on every single level dialing in and showing people that she will be the 2025 WNBA MVP.
No arguments from me. I saw Fee up close in person, also at Unrivaled, and I got a chance to tell her husband, yeah, your wife, she's hooping. So I think she's going to take that energy straight into the WNBA season. Like you said, she's looking for revenge because she is not happy with how that series against the Liberty ended. But before we end the show, we wanted to share with you all what we are most looking forward to this WNBA season. So, Alicia, I'll start things off just simply by saying I'm just looking forward to seeing how the continued growth, whether it's in viewership, whether it's in merchandising, whether it's in opportunities, how all of those things collectively come together to really help the next CBA negotiations go in the favor of the players. We keep talking about that, how that's right around the corner. And I just think that another successful year for the W as a whole, when you look at what the league is doing, both on air and off air, both on the court and off the court, every single piece of the puzzle is going to hopefully help the players get exactly what they are looking for, as much as they are looking for, and ultimately just the sport being better for it. So that is honestly what I'm most looking forward to, is just all this falling together for the greater good.
Ashley, I'm definitely looking forward to that as well, as we all should be, right? We need that to happen for the players. We need that to happen for the league. But I'm also looking forward to the competitiveness of the league. We've talked about it a couple times, but we're going to see some great basketball this year. It's one of those seasons that literally I'm on pins and needles for every game because they're all going to be good. And specifically, I'm excited. I live in Northern California, and since the Sacramento Monarchs, I have not had a team near me that I could go and watch play. And this year I have the Golden State Valkyries. The Golden State Valkyries, I'm so excited to be able to watch those games in person and to go to Chase Center and just see these ladies play. They've already had some fantastic play that we've seen from them. They made history, as a matter of fact. The fans came out, 17,428 people. They showed out for their first preseason game, the third most attended preseason game in WNBA history. I mean, as a fan of the W and as a fan of obviously watching games live, I'm so excited to be able to watch the Valkyries in person this season. And I know that the whole Bay is really excited to have a team and to watch them play. So that's what I'm really excited for, is the Valkyries.
I actually got a chance to peek into their locker room this past All-Star weekend in San Francisco. Obviously, they share the arena with the Golden State Warriors. And I got a chance to peek in there and see what was going on. It's absolutely incredible, state of the art. I'm excited for the women to experience it. I know that they're going to love it. I'm sure they've already gotten those feelings and got those sentiments. But to your point, the Bay Area has such an amazing fan base, and I know what that means for the Golden State Warriors. I know what that has meant for the Golden State Warriors. And I'm excited for women's basketball to have that same following, that same fan base, that same love. And hopefully it inspires other cities to put their bids in for WNBA teams. Obviously, Toronto is around the corner. We've spoken about Nashville and Portland. And we've spoken about Nashville potentially being another city in the mix. There's so much expansion, so much happening, and you don't want to miss a minute of it. And to make sure you don't miss a minute of it, make sure, again, you are locked into all of our social media channels at We Need to Talk. Make sure you are subscribed, notifications turned all the way up on our YouTube channel. And if you are somebody who does not like to watch their podcast, I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch us, but I digress. You can scan the QR code that will pop up at the end of the show. And it's right here. Here we go. And that will help us pop up wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, so there's no reason to not be tapped in with us right here at We Need to Talk Now. Until next time, from myself and Alicia, we will see you then. Bye.